Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back. We are so excited. I do believe this is our first podcast for the year. Oh, God. We're in March. Is it? No, I think this is our second one.
I don't
Um,
know. I can't keep up no more.
Me either.
It's our
Like,
second.
I thought it was our second. I thought we did one fresh one. But anyway, welcome to Christ Culture and Connections. I am your one of your hosts, Coach Ebony Lachelle. Give everybody on the panel a chance to say, hey, what's up? And then we'll dive into tonight's conversation of hidden or holy. Mm. P31, say hey to the people.
Hey, I'm y'all other host, P30. No, I'm playing. I'm not y'all other host. But you know, it's me, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy your boyfriend can't stand,
Wait
the
a
youngest one
minute,
on here.
brother. Wait a minute.
Okay, I'm done.
And
I
that
figured,
was
you
too
know.
much sauce. Hallelujah.
Uh,
Hallelujah. Crystal.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Howard. Just out here, just
boo.
Uh,
laughing at Peter.
oh,
That was
yeah.
funny. I love it. I'm here for it.
Victor.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to be with you tonight. I'm Victor Patterson. I'm ready to get the discussion started.
All right. And last but not least, uh, Coach J.
President accounted for. Let's go. Ready for this conversation with these great fine people of the Lord. Hey, and we won't talk about Lamentations tonight.
Thank you.
Amen.
Hi,
We're
leave
just
her
gonna
alone
we're just
now.
gonna bring that into 2026. We're just gonna keep it.
Ah,
We're just gonna bring that into 2026. You see how people, Peter, here's the thing. You see how you be spiritually vulnerable with people and they take advantage of it? That's what that is.
Like
Great
so
is thy
you
faithfulness.
you can't even be
Can't even
vulnerable
be
and
vulnerable.
transparent with people
Can't even be
because
vulnerable with people. That's
New
all right because I got
mercies I
a Bible app and it quizzes me.
morning by morning, new
oh my
mercies
god.
I see.
Anyway, so tonight's
Oh,
conversation
I have needed. I'm sorry.
31.
Okay.
Push. So tonight's conversation is hidden or holy, navigating relationship privacy as believers. I do think that the community you serve and even your friends and family and your coworkers and everything feel privy to your personal information. Um and
Mm.
they kind of get offended when they don't know what's going on in your life. I can personally attest to that. Having had an experience where I just kind of popped out married on folks. And it was interesting. Some of the responses that, we got several people were like so excited. Other people was like, why you didn't say nothing? Because
It wasn't your
is
business. That's why.
it really their business? So how much of the personal you do you believe, for those who work in serving leadership, how much of our personal business is everybody else's business?
None.
Let's get into that. None. Did you
None.
say none? Well,
None.
why they feel like they supposed to know pastor business?
Cause that's just how they feel. But as I told them this morning and weeks prior, I don't care nothing about your feelings because your feelings change.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I've been ready for this conversation since my sister posted it. However, I have a man I consider a mentor and a uncle. And many know him. His name is Dr. William Curtis. Many know him by Dr. Bill Curtis. However, Dr. Curtis, all they know him as at his church is pastor because he's so introverted and to himself. All they know is pastor. And they don't know nothing about pastor outside of pastor. So guess what? You don't need to know nothing about me as pastor except for pastor.
So when you're doing that, how do you really build rapport when your people don't know anything about you outside
Show
of
up
you?
to the hospital, show up to for your wedding, even if I'm not on the program, show up, at your funeral,
Mm.
show up as the pastor. That's it.
But
I
that's not
am
that's
your
not
pastor.
relationship and rapport. That's just fulfilling job requirements.
No, 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 no. Being there is a ministry. The ministry of presence. It helps to build a relationship. You ain't got to know what's going on with me outside of me being your pastor to know that I love you and I care for you and that I have a shepherding relationship with you.
So what I'm hearing my brother say is that it's important to set boundaries and departmentalize things and people.
Come on, somebody.
So
And people don't get to choose if they can cross a boundary.
because
They
they're
can
gonna do it.
try. They can try. However, it's up to us to remind them, especially since we're on this pastoring thing, as a good shepherd. This is why shepherds have staffs and rods. A
Mm.
staff that has a hook on the end of it is to pull you back into line and from the dangers of your own wandering. Don't you wander over here across my boundary. We have a boundary. I am your pastor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you knew me before pastoring, prior to pastoring, and I happen to become your pastor, well, maybe now we are associates and a pastor, but I'm your pastor.
I agree that there has to be boundaries put in place. And because when you don't have boundaries, you blur the lines. And when you
Mm.
blur the lines, people gets in trouble. And so, although you want to uh, befriend or show that that friend love to your membership, you should still do it within a bound. And so, I totally agree with that. I've had to learn. I've been pastoring since 2011, and I had to learn some through some trials and error. And
Mm.
every time I've went against it, I've always found myself on the short end of the stick. But when I've learned to put the distance in there, I'm able to find peace and find silence and knowing that, hey, I'm your pastor, I'm not your friend. And I think sometimes people want to be not only your them to be not only your pastor or you to be their pastor, but they also want their friendship. And sometimes I always say you can't really befriend the people that you lead, because if you do, when it's time to lead them, are they really gonna respect you?
Yeah.
And then not just that, not will they just have disregard as in the respect aspect. People can't handle the real you. And I'm
Absolutely.
I'm speaking in the sense of ministry. Because when I step away from this pulpit, what you have to understand is I am still
Oh man.
Jay Grogan. Jay Grogan is still human. Example. I'll give you an example and I'm gonna shut up because I haven't been talking a lot since we started. However, Matthew 26, Jesus is preparing for Calvary. And in his preparing for Calvary, he has all of the disciples with him. Well, not all of them, but 11 of the disciples with him. And out of those 11, he tells 8 of them, y'all stay here. I'm going to pray. He takes 3 with him and tells the 3, hey, I am going to pray, but you should also know I'm depressed. No, y'all missed it right over your head. Y'all
No.
read the Bible too fast. Listen, he tells 8 of them, y'all stay here. I'm going to pray. He takes the big three, Peter, James, and John. They go, as my grandmother would say, another further. And he tells them 3, hey, I am going to pray, but I'm also depressed. Mind you, this is the same 3 when they was on the Mount of Transfiguration where he unveiled himself, his human side, and showed them his divinity. But now in the garden, he unveils his divinity and shows him all of his humanity. And you got to realize who's able to handle you at what points in life. Everybody may love you on the mountaintop, but everybody is not able to handle you in valleys. Yes, I do get depressed. Yes, I do get upset. Yes, sometimes I do slip into cussing. Yes, sometimes I will have a drink. Yes, sometimes I will smoke a cigar. And everybody cannot handle that.
I
And
totally
so
agree
if
with you.
I'm your pastor, I'm going to be your pastor.
Mm.
Now, the moment I can't pastor you, one of 2 things. Either my assignment is up with you and it's time for me to go or for you to go, or you're about to be turned into a thorn as God takes me to where he's taking me and he's giving me a new grace to handle a certain affliction.
Mm.
But let me ask this question. So, because I agree, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with you. But what happens when you allow them to dehumanize you into just a pastor role? Because I think a lot of times people don't see our human side. People don't see that we go through the same struggles that they go through, if not worse, if not more. And because of that, they think that sometimes they dehumanize us and put us into a position. And when they put us into a position, and then when we don't show up the way that they feel like we should show up, or when we fail, guess what? Guess who gets to hold the bag? So what do you do when people dehumanize you as a person because of your position? Because people don't see you as a person.
Mm.
So so I I think I get what you're saying. Um these are things that are you have to lead with in those moments. Meaning, um, okay, Aunt Susie in the hospital and Pastor can't show up because Pastor working. Here's the
Mm.
boundary. Here's me being your pastor. I'm sending a deacon on my behalf.
'Cause you
And
can't.
when that deacon gets there, that deacon announces to begin with, I am here on behalf of Pastor so and so.
He sent me. Make it known.
I'm not just coming here on my own call. I'm coming for the pastor. I represent like we have to begin to teach and I love the words my particular pastor has been using lately as we've been developing certain things for St. John. We have to develop a culture
Mm-hmm.
where the people understand this ain't about personal feelings. This is simply about alignment and intentionality. I'm being intentional about leading you in a certain way. And because I'm being intentional about leading you in a certain way, I understand I can't derobe myself in a certain way for you. And if I cannot derobe myself in a certain way for you, and me being intentional, my alignment is going to be a role of leadership out the gate. Now, does that mean that I don't cry with the people or I don't feel empathy for the people or though no. Victor, if you remember, after we finished the panel one time, we got off of a live and we had a conversation and I said something. I said you have to learn how to bleed with the people, but not bleed on the people.
On the people. Yep.
So you can walk with the sheep in their moments of sorrow, grief, pain, because you feel that same pain because it's something you're dealing with together as a church body and as pastor and people. That's bleeding with them, but bleeding on them is allowing them to see your personal wounds. And again, everybody can't handle that.
Mm. So I know Ebony probably gonna jump in, but I gotta push back, right? Because sometimes preaching or letting people see certain things that you experience also might show them that pastor's not perfect, and because I'm not perfect, that might make me want to come to God even more. Do you agree with
So
that or disagree?
That's when discernment comes in.
that's what I was going to say. That's something I learned in corporate
Yeah.
training. When you use examples or use your personal experience, it has to have intention.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna share my personal experience in ministry, it's gotta have purpose.
Mm,
It's not me just venting to the people. It's
mm.
to
It,
encourage,
Yeah.
to whatever, motivate.
Yeah, you
and
definitely have
again, that's
a
part of
reason.
the bleeding with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we just can't be telling all, but because honestly speaking, you can't. I think there's a fine line of vulnerability and transparency when you serve in certain positions because human nature, the people take things and put it in their pocket to bring out later when you demand a certain level of accountability and respect from them, and they be like, "Well, Pastor such and
You
such, or such and such, you didn't do da 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 da." So I think it is a fine line that we have to walk for that.
And
Um,
I don't want us to confuse this. I'm sorry, sis, but I just gotta
oh
clarify.
yeah,
I don't want us to confuse this as we're untouchable or unapproachable.
no, y'all are human.
What I'm saying is there is a separation between my personal livelihood
Mm-hmm.
and this role that I'm in,
I agree with
this
that.
capacity that I walk in. There
Let's just
is a
say if y'all were married.
separation.
I agree with that, but
Hmm.
the people don't agree with that though.
They ain't
most
gotta
of
agree with it. You don't have to agree with it.
Your
You have
average.
to respect it. I don't care if you agree.
Let me
You need
ask
to
you,
respect it.
do you guys feel like you get it heavier because you are single men? Y'all are not married. Do y'all feel like people pry heavier because you're not married?
Absolutely. In
I
fact,
would think so.
I've been married before. Actually, I've been married twice. Both marriages was 10 years apart from each other. And I think some of the reason why I got married the second time was because of me being single in the ministry. And I think some of that also had to do with people not saying that, hey, you're a single pastor. Why should I say my wife to your church? Or you're a single pastor. Why should, this and that? How can you provide marriage counseling and things of that nature? So, yeah, that in the back of my mind, that did place me in a position that I probably would not had been in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
This church that I pastor now, and I pastor in the Amy Zion Church. This church that I pastor now, they didn't want a married pastor. They didn't want one. And so I think it really depends on that particular church and those people that attended that church. So
Mm.
I just don't
that's
care.
interesting. What you say, 31?
I said I don't care
Yeah, okay, but
how you
anyway,
how
so
you and
yeah,
saying that meaning how they feel.
yeah. So as I've also been married and divorced. And one of the questions that has come up lately in some conversations, some of my circles, would because do you think that past church hurt or our public failures influence our decisions in how we date?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a little list of things I will not do no more.
What is that list? What's the list?
I mean, certain things like I don't do baby mama drama. So if your kid is not at least my kid's age or older, I'm not really interested type vibe because like I don't have time for rekindling of the feelings and I want my family back and all that stuff. I don't, bruh. So that's one of my things. I would prefer you have adult children like I do because I'm a lovey. I got grandkids and I need you to understand what that energy is like because I will make plans with my grandkids. So you just kind of understand the vibe I'm in. I have a teenager, so we do teenager stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of them. The other thing is I don't overextend myself as much. I'm more conscious of overextending in the dating stage. Like overextending meaning excessive calling, texting, traveling, like initiating those things. I don't initiate as much. Like I feel like court. I want someone to court me. I felt like for many years I was courting men. And that's backwards, right? So it's just little things like that. Just little things that I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that no more. I don't do the good morning text. Good morning, babe. I don't do that. It's not appreciated.
It's not
Y'all don't
appreciated with
appreciate
with
good
the
morning
romance.
text.
It's not appreciated.
Some of us do. Some of us do.
Mm-mm.
Fellas, y'all don't appreciate a good morning text.
I
A
do.
good morning, handsome. Hey, babe.
Hey, let me say
They don't
this.
appreciate it.
No man, listen, no man
Some people
minds
just
chase
really
no man minds chasing what he wants. But you also gotta give him a reason to chase.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I am engaging when I'm engaged. When it's
So,
initiated.
if
so
that
I
man don't say good morning, y'all ain't gonna talk that day.
We may not.
Oh.
It's the overextending and this comes from self-evaluation. Like this comes from like sitting back and saying, okay, what were my actions in this? Because I've been told you're a bit overbearing. Like I'm 45 this year. We just gonna text all the time? No, like let's go to dinner, let's go to a movie. Like, dude, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna kick it. And no, like I'm not overextending no more. So
I think
yeah,
you might have overstated to the wrong man because
that's possible.
the right man will appreciate it.
I agree.
boop, 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 45,
I
47.
agree.
40, oh, I'm sorry.
I just match energies in this season. You give
Ain't
me
So
nothing
the
wrong
energy,
with
before we
that.
you give me the
bef-
energy back.
before we lose the integrity of this question, because this is going left fast. I think I think what Ebony was saying was, does church hurt are things that happened to us in church while we were dating or when we did date or whatever, when we became divorced, the way the church handled us afterwards, does that play a part in how we date now? Is that what you asked us? Is that how you asked? Okay. Yeah. Basically, them people opinion or the way them people handle you in that moment, does it affect the way you date now? Do you bring them around? Do you let them meet your members? Do you let them meet sister
That's
so
a
and
good
so,
question.
brother so and so?
Ask
Have they
Pastor,
met your pastor?
do you bring someone you're dating to
If
like
you if
invite
you
them
if
to?
you the pastor, do you bring them with you?
Do
I
you?
have, and that was the worst mistake in the world because they got involved in the church. And when they got involved in the church and we broke up, people started to ask
Where
what
they
this
at?
certain person
What is you?
what this certain person is. And they're like, Pastor, that was a good woman for you.
What
I'm
happened
like,
to
just
Keisha?
because you see it on the outside, don't know what's going on behind the closed doors. And I'm like, I would never do that again. And then when I was married and I got divorced, it really wasn't so much the people that was pastoring, right? I mean, true story. I got divorced in December of 2022. And I was pastoring at that time in Arkansas. And when I came to my congregation to let them know what was going on, the man covered me. And I appreciated that because I did not know that I was pastoring a church with men that were divorced themselves. And the current wives that they were with were not their first wives. Maybe one or two was with the first person they married, but a lot of them had multiple divorces under their umbrella. And so there wasn't really no judgment zone. But where the judgment part did come from was from higher up leadership, and that's what I struggled with. Because no matter if was if no matter if I did something right or wrong, because I'm the pastor, it always fell on me to say you must have been the problem on why this marriage didn't work. And I don't think we talk about that enough. I don't
That's
think we
why I'm
talk
Baptist.
about I don't think we talk about that aspect enough, not just with your membership, but if you're in a structured denomination, how all the other stuff comes at to you. And sometimes that also determines on if you're going to get another church or not. That also determines on what church you're going to go to. I mean, all of that stuff really matters. I don't know if it's so much the members that I've ever been concerned with because they know I'm a person and they people too. It was more of the higher ups for me.
I can see that because Victor, we're kind of probably branches off the same tree as
Mm-hmm.
A and me. And I can see how that does affect because I think it's written in some of the laws where for some of the offices you have to be the husband of one wife.
Bishop, yep.
So you can't. But yeah.
As a dating woman, I don't bring everyone to church with me though.
Cause you can't. Cause they gonna call you a hussy if you bring more than
Well, we know you ain't bringing nobody to church because you don't even say good morning, so we know they ain't coming to church with you.
She wants somebody to stalk her before she say good morning.
No, y'all gotta understand, like it's been weird out here in these streets.
You know what?
I say good morning in the street. And then you don't say anything all day. You don't even say anything all day. And then like 2:00, it's like, how's your day going? Dude.
Maybe he was waiting on you to reach out. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh, if you say good morning, you say good morning.
And then it's like, how's your day going at 2:00? Oh, okay.
Maybe he was busy. Maybe he was out doing the Lord's work.
So,
maybe he was out working or something.
I don't know about the Lord's work, but
he wasn't doing the Lord's work.
It could be all of the babies, you guys. For me, it's the lack of consistency.
Here's the thing. I do know, and I've been there, where so certain jobs or job sites, you just cannot have your phone. Like, so the job I work, one of the sites is a prison.
Totally understand.
And when we get there, it's like 6:30 in the morning if we have to go. 6:30, 7 in the morning. I can't have my phone in there. So by the time we finish, it's like
I hear all that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you communicate that.
At this point,
I ain't gonna have my phone today.
Exactly. At this point, if we're at a stage where I'm reaching out to you first thing in the morning or on my route to work, or I'm in transition to work and doing my morning thing, we done already had them conversations. We don't ask them questions. I pretty much know your schedule. So if I'm texting you at a time, I know that you're gonna be available. So if you allow all this time to go, and this happens several times, then yeah, I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna match energy. Like if I do it a few different days out the week.
Now see, now you're adding things because in the beginning you didn't say this. You said
no, I don't do it anymore. Yeah, I don't do it anymore because of a past experience.
You ain't say over several times. You saying if I text you one day. So this was one time. You about to cut me off because of what? I don't want to talk about it no more because we about to miss the integrity of the last question.
Anyway,
hilarious.
So
defense?
What kind of determines the level of privacy that you need? Is it timing? Is it intention? Like when you feel like it's time to pop out? Are we popping out? Are we kind of gradually going into stuff like?
I think for me, I appreciated how you just popped up, married. Only certain people in your circle knew, right? And only certain people knew, and those
Here
are
we go.
people that needs
Here we
that
go.
needs to
Here we go.
know. And,
Here we
and,
go.
and so
I like
hold on, P31. Hold on. And so I appreciated that. The thing is, when you pop out too early and you ain't solidified your position with each other, you allow people to get in. And when you allow people to get in, you allow attacks from every angle that you can think of that probably could not
the
have been
emoji.
attacked if you just kept it quiet or amongst the people that needed to know. And I gotta go to the Bible, right? The Bible says that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so what y'all are trying to build, if you expose it too early, you are setting yourself up for it to be destroyed. So I appreciated how y'all popped up. I was shocked. I'm like, what? I just got done talking to y'all down, and I'm like, I didn't know, but I get it, right? It probably wasn't for me to know until you released it. In my last marriage, that's how it worked. We popped up just married. It wasn't like nobody else's responsibility, nobody else's fault. My mama knew about it. Those her people knew about it. There was only people that knew about it. Because the thing is, if other people had known about it, I'm sure my dating life in the past would have been exposed. I'm sure there might have been some things that I thought was nipped in the bud that might not have been in other people's world, and that stuff would come back and bite me in the butt. And so when I got the ring on my hand and said I do, I care less because we wasn't married, but now we married. Now everybody can know about it. But that's just my 2 cents.
I agree.
So, sister, can I answer that real quick? And you know what I'm talking about because you put it on the screen. So the question says, what happened to he who find it? Consistency, honesty, loyalty is important. First of all, let's not take a portion of this. Let's deal with the whole thing if you're going to use that verse. He who findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtaineth favor with the Lord. That's what the whole verse says. Number one, I am not intentionally seeking a wife in this verse. Because if we look at this particular verse in context, he's talking about wisdom and talking about God. So I am seeking God in wisdom, and along the way of seeking God, he puts this woman there. I found her there in seeking him. That's number one. Number two, she was a wife when I found her. I think we get this idea of I become a wife at the altar. No, you become a wife the day that you decide to get your life together. I should have found you
Preach!
being a wife.
Preach!
I agree.
I gotta find you walking in this already because I'm not gonna marry you and there's no attributes of you already being able to be a wife. And before you come with this argument of you mean washing the dishes and cooking that is not what I mean. What I mean is your integrity, your communication skills, how do you handle your problems, what happens with financial management. Those are things that makes a wife. Okay, so as a wife, I found you whole. Hear me? I found you whole. Okay, and I found you working. When Boaz finds Ruth, he finds her in the field.
But listen, that wasn't a love story. I don't know if we want to use that. That wasn't really
That
a love story.
it
But
wasn't a love
everybody
story,
else
But
uses it as a love
but
story.
that
but
is not a
the
love.
point
It's
the
not a
point
love
I'm
story.
the point I'm making is he found her doing something in his field. I'm
Got
not
you.
saying they're going to be in the same field of work. I'm saying they're going to be in the same field of alignment with God.
You preaching. You preaching. So you preaching
And
on this
so,
night.
yes, consistency, honesty, loyalty matters. However, it matters to both because it's not just on the man, it's on the woman as well. I hope I answered your
Mm.
question.
You got your extra sermon out today, little bro.
That listen, listen.
You did teach
This
him.
when you put this
He
subject up,
always
I was like,
does.
"Ooh, I like this. This is it. We ain't been on in 3 months. This is it."
That's my little brother type of carrying on. So thank you for your question. That was wonderful. Um, did y'all answer my question though?
Yes,
Repeat the
What
I do
question because I
believe
think I
church
did.
hurt.
I was like, what determines the
Oh,
level? What determines privacy? What does timing determine privacy or intention? Like, at what point do you? So we
I
just
think it's
like,
both. I think it's both. Um, Timing matters and intentions matter. Timing
mhm,
matters because, of course, you don't want to introduce somebody too fast where now your integrity becomes a matter of question because didn't you just get out of something or didn't y'all like ooh they was together while the other one was with them, you know how people are because
yeah,
again people's perception is their reality.
yep,
That's why you
People
should
may
pop up
not
married.
pe- people will not ever come and ask you X, Y, and Z. They will not come for clarity.
and
They're
there
going
is,
to they're going to take what they saw or what they perceive, and that's what they go run with. And even if some of them do come for clarity, they're going to twist it how they want to. So time does play a factor. So you don't want to go too soon, but then you necessarily don't want to wait too long. And when I say wait too long, not for the sake of people, but for the sake of your partner,
Mm,
because
mm.
it may become a question of, well, are you hiding?
mm-hmm,
Or are we hiding? Are we not a thing? Is there something else going on? And it's really where you have to meet. Here it is. You got to meet somebody that understands your position. Like
that,
you have to understand
mm-hmm,
this is not just. I'm not just somebody on the streets. It's okay for them to do it, but it's a problem when I do it, right?
mm,
So
And
timing not, but intentions matter too. Because are you intentional about me? Am I intentional about you? Are we intentional about meeting the same purpose and the same goal?
But Ebony, let me ask you this. Let me jump in right quick. Ebony, let me ask you this. Are you saying to the whole world or are you talking about to certain people? Because I think that also has to take in encounter as well. Because if you are just talking about the immediate people that needs to know or whatever else, I think that's different compared to the whole broader view of people in general. And if that's the case, I think that might be a different answer in this situation because of course you might be dating in private, but the people that needs to know that who you are with, they should know. But the whole world might not need to know.
I
yeah.
stopped introducing people to my daddy. Let me tell you why. My daddy gets attached to people, and
mm.
then he's attached, and
And
we're
you
not together. And now they still friends on Facebook or whatever the case may be, and still showing up to church and still coming for his anniversaries, and I'm like,
what's she doing here?
I understand that, and
why?
I agree with that because if I break up with you or if I divorce you, um,
You break up with everybody.
you break up with
Why?
everybody.
But
I
why
brought you
though?
around. We
But
ain't y'all ain't friends no more. Y'all ain't family. You
I
ain't
brought you here.
why?
me.
But why?
Because I am the common denominator. I am the link. I'm the one that brought y'all together. So depending on what level it is, what y'all still need to talk for?
So let me say this, right? My last relationship, um, well, I don't say it was a relationship. My last whatever.
Situationship
Um,
is
um,
complicated. It.
Bruh.
I'm
she's
playing.
listen,
No.
listen. The person I was dating, um,
We
she
live.
she she was a
Yeah, we
entrepreneur.
live.
She was
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that.
we live.
listen.
We
She was
live.
an
Disclaimer: we're live.
no, but she was an entrepreneur and she did great business, right? She was the first black female bakery in around their area. And so my fraternity brothers or whatever, they would reach out because of cakes, cookies, and all that type of stuff. And when we ended, I'm like, hey, you know what? If you want her to make cakes, if you want her to do all that stuff, please feel free to do all of that stuff. So I guess I might be looking at it differently from y'all because I don't care. Hey, live your life. I'm gonna live my life. Make your money. I'm gonna make my money.
Well, okay,
I mean, that's cool, but to
it
an
also
extent.
depends on what
She
happened.
ain't. She's not coming to Thanksgiving.
Y'all got people
That
coming to
that right there.
Thanksgiving.
That right
I
there.
mean,
Y'all
I'm
got
just
people coming to
saying,
Thanksgiving.
like popping
I
up. It's Christmas. Oh, I'm in town.
I done walked in my parents' house and you here. Why are you here?
What are you doing
Sweet
here?
baby Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's something else. Yeah, that's a different.
Hey,
That's a different level. Yeah, that's a
You
different
done
level.
became a babysitter for my siblings. Like
That's
sit
a di-
around
that's
babysitting, and
that's a different bag. Yeah, that's a different
yeah,
level.
yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's a different level.
Anywho,
Yeah, I get
Ebony,
that.
next question, please. Please.
Coach Jay, you haven't said anything all night.
He's a wise man.
No, Coach Jay, please expound.
No, being
Um,
nice to people is okay. They may like you a lot. Well,
I'll
huh?
I'll say this. No, you can't bring everyone home because everybody don't
My man.
deserve that part of you, that extension of you. Yes, timing is very important, and especially intentions, because I've seen people been wanting to be this person's husband or wife, and they like, I just learned your last name 2 days ago. How you already trying to call my mama mama? So there is some timing and some spacing that needs to happen because, like he said, y'all might not last to next month. So why are we
Hmm.
introducing people on day two? And I've seen people drop by because they knew where the family stayed at during holidays and stuff. I was just in the neighborhood. Well, get out the neighborhood because you don't stay over here.
Wow. Wow.
Just it's a respect thing. It's literally a respect thing. I have two kids. They family have family functions. If my kid ain't involved in no sports, in sports, anything like that, I'm not going over their house for no family this and family that. Who cares if they invite me in? Nah, I'm good. Y'all do y'all thing. I'm gonna be over here. It's a respect thing, and I think certain people are so cliquish and want to be a
Mm,
part that they disrespect the respect they should give you and your privacy. Everybody, you can't, and then going back to what we talked about before, everybody can't see your humanity as a leader. I've had leaders and they didn't say it and did some stuff in front of the people, and the people came back to the other leaders like, we know Pastor got down like that. And we had to talk them down off the ledge because it was like, I mean, some people left the church because they seen and heard what the pastor did, and it's like you can't do everything around everybody. Y'all just said Jesus took 3 out of the 11 that was there. He couldn't do and say everything around everybody because they couldn't take it. You gotta know the people that you are with and the people that you are around. And you only need a handful to be you and to be human around those people. Because certain people, like you said, they'll put it in their pocket and wait. Well, you remember when you said, Pastor, when
yep.
you didn't respect your leader and stuff, and y'all went back and forth, but y'all was cool in it. Man, you don't need all that in your ministry.
Yeah.
You don't need all of that in your leadership. So I really do believe that there's time, season, places, and spaces where you should be able to do everything that you need to do as a leader. Be a leader, be a human and a leader. But you gotta know who you around, and you gotta allow God to show you the people who are truly in your corner. Because everybody that clap for you ain't really clapping for you.
Yeah.
How many of y'all on here know that you not supposed to take an egg straight out of the refrigerator and put it in the pot? You're supposed to let it sit to reach room temperature and then put it in the water so that it does not crack. It's the same thing. I can't just take you out and um, expect you to jump right in and things be okay. There's going to be a crack somewhere and something is going to leak and become messy in this pot. And so I have to put this aside in its own personal area and space so that we can warm up together and then we can go in the pot together. That's like coming out of the heat. You ain't supposed to drink cold water if you've been working in the heat because it creates a spike and it drops your internal temperature too quickly and will cause a heart attack. You cannot just immediately jump into something and bring all this out at one time.
Yeah.
It's going to get messy. There's going to be spikes. You're going to have heart attacks. There's going to be cracks if you put everything in at one time.
Leaves, branches, tree trunk. You gotta know who is where in your life.
That's good.
So, question. Bringing it back to our hidden and holy theme. Do reputations sometimes matter more than the person's current righteousness in church settings?
Wait, do reputations matter more
Does,
than what?
does the person's, as we're preparing to, move from maybe privacy to, showing up a little bit in each other's lives, does that person's current or past reputation matter more than their current state of righteousness in church settings?
Mm.
Hmm. That's a deep question.
There was a great theologian. Um, he's now deceased, but he pastored the Neverland Mega Baptist Church.
Mm.
His name is Michael Jamal Jackson. And the Reverend Dr. Michael Jamal Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Like, I think we have to realize we have to stop trying to look through glass houses so much and start looking into mirrors. You cannot continuously hold somebody's past skeleton against them because truthfully, we all have skeletons in the closet, but here's the difference. Some skeletons still got flesh on them. And if we being honest, some of them still got a pulse. And so where is my skeleton compared to your skeleton? And you still want to hold what happened in the past against me because of the position I may have. God has no respect of person. Yes, I'm held at a higher standard by God because when we, as teachers, we are held at a higher standard because as a teacher, we know already. But then once you are taught and you know better, you are supposed to do better. And no longer can the excuse be, I didn't know or I don't know. No, you've been taught. And so you are to do better. And so teaching you to not continuously hold people's past against them means that I need to do a introspect of my own life and heart. I don't remember what group it was, but they used to say, "Sweep around your own front door
It's a Kansas
before you
spirit.
try to sweep around mine." I thought it was them. I wasn't for sure, so I didn't wanna. Yeah,
Sweep
maybe.
around. Whoa, fine.
I mean,
And
listen, but P31, I hear you, right? I do, and I totally agree with you. But we're flesh, and because we flesh, that doesn't always happen. Because we flesh, where we know not to judge people or shouldn't judge people based off what they done in the past. We constantly, no matter who we are, pastors or just regular members, we do it, and because we're human, and it's the bias that we have in us. The question that we have to probably deal with is how to remove our bias in order to see a person for who they really are.
the question then becomes, are you growing? Because maturity says, I have gotten beyond immediately judging people or holding people in condemnation to who they once were. Because growth says, I understand that I'm flawed myself. And we're quick to say, well, we're just flesh. Well, this is why Paul says that we have to beat our bodies into subjection every day.
Mm.
O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? And I think what we miss is, as humans, people like to categorize sin:
Mm-hmm.
murder, homosexuality, robbery. I don't know what else. Big sin. That's big sin. That's big sin.
Sin.
Lie, gossip,
Homongers.
judgment. Oh yeah, homongers. You know
Yeah, hold
that's
on.
big stuff. But lie, judgment, gossip, gluttony.
Mm-hmm.
Those are little sins. Those are things. No, in God's eyesight, sin is sin.
Yep.
James
And
says, when you know, go ahead.
part of that flesh and that wretched man and me beating myself into subjection is dealing with all sin. Whether you think it's big sin or little sin, sin is sin. And you got to learn to stop gossiping. You got to learn to stop passing judgment. You got to learn to stop looking at the toothpick that's in my eye and look at the 2x4 that's in your eye. Like we have to get to the point of not saying that people are allowed to misuse grace, because
Mm,
eventually at some point you know what you're doing. Grace is not a pass to keep doing it. That yes,
mm,
maybe there needs to be an intervention with trusted people so that we can get you back on track. But friends, also we have to understand, yes, life is hard, and in life people have slips, mistakes, mishaps, and it's not our job to put our foot on their neck.
So, with everything you said, does there or do we need to be creating safer spaces where members feel like they don't have to hide their relationship missteps? Is there a need for that in the church?
Yes, the church should be a catalyst for all things: education, relationship counseling, divorce counseling, substance abuse. It Because I think we missed the part of Jesus says, make disciples.
Mm.
Discipling people is not just getting the numbers to go up. Discipling isn't just on Sunday or as your midweek study. Discipling is Monday through Saturday, from the prelude to the benediction, from the benediction to the next prelude. That's discipleship. And discipleship says, I have to minister to the needs of the total man. And I can't effectively minister to your needs if I constantly hold the light of condemnation over you.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting that I once myself, and I'm saying myself, but y'all know what I'm saying, that I once myself needed the same grace I need to offer you.
Yeah.
Listen, I told First Baptist one time, I say, you know, a lot of the reason that we can't get young adults in this church is because some of y'all are too judgmental.
Yeah.
And the problem is y'all judgmental about the things y'all used to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't they be?
And then I went a step further and I said, and if we being honest, the only reason that you don't do it now is because age caught your behind.
Mm. Let me ask something right quick. To Eben, your question. Can you repeat that question again?
What I asked?
About should the church be a safe place for
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
relationships?
Forgot.
And now, do y'all agree that most churches are made up of women compared to men on the average basis, right?
Yes.
Most churches in America
Hmm.
is attended by women, right?
Yeah.
Can I say that perhaps one of the reasons why it might not be a safe place for divorce, or talk about those relationships, although we do have marriage ministries, we also have singles ministries and things of that nature. But this is a statistic. According to American Psychological Association, women initiate the majority of divorces, with studies showing they file about 70% of cases. A figure even rises to roughly 90% for college educated women. And so, if it's supposed to be a place that we could talk about it, is it really actually a place that we could talk about it, or should even coach about it when women are the majority of the church that, according to statistics, show that they the ones that ask for divorce the most?
Okay. So to answer that,
You by
um,
yourself.
I
I ain't
just
got
asked
no
the
backup
question.
plan tonight. I ain't got
I
no
know,
backup.
I
He's
just asked
by
the
himself. That's an
question.
island.
so
You by
and then
right
you're
on
No, we
probably
the
him.
gonna,
problem.
Hush, you're probably gonna be surprised by my response. So I do think that it should be a safe place because I agree with 31 that the church should lead those initiatives on all fronts.
Absolutely.
Is is it a safe place for women? Yes. Is it a safe place for divorced men right now? No. And it is fully because of those statistics because women are make up the mass majority of the body of especially a lot of rural churches, and because
Hmm.
they come in, they are initiating divorce because their husband has cheated, or they feel like they have been invisible. They feel like they've been holding down the household while their husband may or may not have been financially providing. He hasn't provided in any other aspect, and so no one has taken any time to give these, in
That
some instances
hurt.
they're hurt and they're bitter, and it is safe for them to come in because those women, yeah, girl, you should have done da, 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 da. It's safe for them. It is not safe for some divorced men right now, and that is unfair. It should
Yeah.
be a safe, it should be an even playing field for everybody. Everybody should be able to come to the church and get the healing and counseling that
And
they need.
that's the thing, Ebony. You nailed it on the head because coming to the church hurt. What I don't need is someone to say the things that make me bitter.
Right.
And,
It needs to
and
be
can I?
is it a safe space for us coming in hurt, like women that are hurt? Because I don't think a lot of times it is. I think it's a space for us to get our wounds licked and for like to justify some of our
Well, that's what
unhealed
makes it
behavior.
safe.
Right.
for women, but
Yeah,
they're not holding women.
Accountable. There's no
We have to be held accountable as well. You have to be like, well, your marriage failed, and that's one of the
Let's
things
unpack that.
that I went through, especially in my second divorce, was what did I do to contribute to the breakdown and failure of the institution that I had entered into. And I had to sit with myself in that. And while there were a lot of things that went on, cause and effect, he did this, well, I'm gonna act like this, or my attitude gonna sit cause baby, I can hold a mean grudge. We gonna be mad today. You might be mad for 5 minutes. I could have been mad the whole rest of the day. So I had to, I had to sit with that as well. So while it is a safe space for the women constituents, because they have to make it safe for them because they are the ones that are there.
exactly.
But it is, and I have said, I think those things help to keep women single, because it doesn't help them be accountable. It doesn't help them grow. It doesn't help them mature or be nurtured into the next space because a lot of them would desire to be remarried again, but we're not helping them grow past that. Yep. So it is safe and sustaining, but it's not nurturing and helping them grow.
No. Absolutely. We don't talk about, let me say this. We don't talk about real life. We use the Bible. We do the fluff. We do all the rest of that stuff, and that's good. That's Danny. Hey, we gonna get our salvation. We gonna get our shout on. We gonna get our praise on. But that's not doing the work. Sometimes doing the work is exposing taking off the band-aids to say, let's talk about real life. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty in order to create all this stuff that needs to be changed. And until we really stop so much the biblical talk and the biblical language, I know we're Christians, but sometimes God didn't the Bible say, I become all things that all people might believe. And sometimes the only way that we can believe is if you really do the real work.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, somebody on here not about to like this, I guarantee it. But women, please, married women in particular, please stop going home bragging on your pastor so much.
What?
To your husband. Oh, you should have been at church. Pastor said this. Pastor did this. Pastor did so good. Pastor da da da. I mean, you just praising your pastor to your husband. And now your husband is looking side-eyed at a man he don't know, and that man don't know him.
Especially if he's upset.
Especially if he's single. Especially if he's single. Now your husband is upset with that pastor, and that pastor don't know why. But it's because you've given more affirmation and praise to your pastor than you have your husband.
I got so many.
Respect your pastor. You ought to respect your pastor, yes. But this adoration and this praise that we go home with sometimes, and we talk about our pastors to our husband, literally, y'all may not see it, but there will literally come a time where your husband starts side-eyeing the pastor.
Yeah. Especially
and he may not be coming to church because of that reason.
Absolutely.
You bringing leftovers to the pastor. Why? Thank you for feeding me. However,
I take
your husband.
My pastor.
Your dad is your pastor.
I cannot.
You're exempt from this conversation. Your dad is your pastor. But seriously, like there are women, married women, who find and for a lack of better terms, fangirl over their leaders. And they bring that home, and they're consistently talking about who their leader is and how good he preached and how good service was and what we're doing in this new class and what's going on in the church. And you literally go to bed talking about your pastor, and you have not affirmed your husband all day long. And I'm telling you this as a man. Again, so when you know better, do better.
She can't be excited about what's happening at church.
That's not what I'm saying. Yes, be excited about what's going on at church. However, don't praise your pastor more than you praise your husband. Don't affirm your pastor to your husband more than you affirm your husband about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna keep on saying, especially if he's a single pastor, and I think that's where some of this.
Especially if he's a single pastor.
I think that's where some of these pastors, when we feel like we're single, we got to hurry get married because of those hard conversations that P31 is talking about right now. That adds to that.
And so then it becomes a tension and a struggle to get men in the church because of reasons like this. That's one reason on top of many, but it's in the top 5 of those reasons.
Okay, well, ladies out there, I hope y'all listening.
Yes. Yes, married women.
Oh, top 3. Coach Jay said top 3. It's in the top 3.
Married women, single women, all the women. Don't be fangirling over your pastor
That
because
is tacky.
because you felt like you trying to get your husband there. That ain't gonna work.
That ain't how you
It's
do
gonna
it.
have the opposite effect. If he asks you what's going on at them folk church, just invite him to come with you.
You
Tell
should
him you
come, honey.
You should come.
I had a great time at Bible study tonight. You should come with me. I think you would enjoy it.
So you know what? So let's get off track for a hot second but we got to go. So
I mean, we don't have to, but we have to.
yeah. So the men be mad because their wives serving. But they don't want to go.
I don't
either.
think that's what they saying. I don't think they mad.
But I think it is. It connects. So if the wife,
I want to hear the question. Let's hear the question.
The wife
Let's hear
been
the
talking
question.
about the pastor and everything the pastor do and say and this, but you inviting your husband to come, but he won't never come because he mad at the pastor that he don't even know. How you get your husband to finally come on? You just not tell him nothing about what's going on?
Well, I think first of all, I will hope that the person that you marry, I guess the Bible, as Christians, the Bible tells us that we shouldn't be unequally yoked. So I will hope that if you are say sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, that you marry somebody that's like that. But most of the time, that doesn't always happen. But the first home is your church. Your home is your first church. And so that should be your covering. That should be everything that takes place in there. But when you come to a different home, a side home from where your first church is, and you do all this, that's where Jay is coming from. That's where P31 is coming from, talking about how all this add up to the mess that we have. So of course, another man's not going to go to another home if he feel like his wife is doing more or finding more at the other place than his own home. If that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying, how do you flip that? That's the
I think we have to one, X out the fangirling, celebrifying our pastor in our home. But we have to, I would really like you to see why I serve at this church.
Absolutely.
I would love for you to serve with me. I would love for us to grow together in Bible study. And flip the record over, play the other side. We also have to be intentional in our ministry, in our churches, about doing things that are designed for men.
Yeah, I was gonna.
The mode of thinking. The motor of the church has been so women driven, is that almost everything that happens in the church is geared towards the woman in some type of way. And so when do we do things? When do we bring up ideas to our leaders, or when do we set things in place that is specifically for men? And then that man has the opportunity to see, oh, this is why she keep coming to this church.
Mhm.
This is why she might keep talking about the pastor. For example, in this very current moment, I am preparing to create a noonday Bible study for men only, and it's not always going to be at the church.
Mhm.
Sometimes we going fishing, but we're going to have Bible study.
Mhm.
Sometimes we go sit at somebody's house, they go pull out a pit, but we're going to have Bible study. Sometimes we go sit, as my grandfather used to say, under the shade tree and play bones, but there will be Bible study. Dominoes, Jay, dominoes. We might go shoot pool, but there will be Bible study.
Yeah. I think it's
And
important
this is
to know
a
your partner.
yeah, right. This is a men's that as Alfalfa said in Little Rascals, the He
He
Man
men, one woman in club.
Women Haters Club.
Mhm.
Now we don't hate y'all women, but y'all ain't welcome in this moment.
You hate
You know.
us.
I think it's important for women to understand how to connect with their man. So I don't care if it's my pastor or my boss at work or a coworker at work or the mechanic down the street or the bad boy at the grocery store. My man is not going to want me to come home bragging about another man all the time.
Exactly.
So you have to be mindful of how you position things to your man. And it has to be something that he can relate to. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost. So yes, creating or finding the things that are at this particular church that your man would be interested in and getting the information and taking it to him and presenting it that way, not saying, well, pastor said the men need to help out with moving the stuff around. No, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna have to find the thing that your man can connect with. The other piece is, if I'm going to Bible study, I'm going to Sunday school, I'm going to church every Sunday, I'm going to crowd rehearsal, I'm doing all those things, then what I'm coming back to share with my man is not what pastor said, it's my experience. It's going to be how the spirit filled the room, babe. You should have seen how people's lives were changed today. Like, it's all about positioning. So if a woman is coming home and the pillow talk is about the pastor, then there's some self-evaluation that needs to happen within that one. Because there's no way that I'm coming home and talking to my man about another man. Because
Now
I
let me say,
come home and talk about a woman and what this woman had on and what she was wearing and how she was doing it. You
Chris,
understand
we
what I'm
can't talk
saying?
about we can't talk about that.
I mean, we can discuss it, but if you're bringing it to me on like, well, you should do this because sister so and so always have. Come on now.
she
Now
showed something that song today.
She so did.
it's comparison. Like,
So
no.
so and then we have to now let me say this. If I'm your man and I just so happen to be your pastor, please come home and brag about me.
Hey, let me add this in there
Brag
too.
about me to me.
My God.
Another thing that we have to stop doing, not only what we have to do, but another thing that we have to stop doing is coming home with gossip.
Mm.
Coming
Yeah,
home on the bad things that happens in
that
the
happened in
church,
service or at the
because
church. Yeah.
that too will make sure somebody else don't come.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
so we
and
can
I
talk about all the good things, we can talk about all that, but once we start talking about the gossip, when we start talking about all the bad things that might have happened, he ain't gonna come.
Mm-mm.
Why would he want to come?
and then so also um then so there I was about to say this. Um I have a friend, like we're very close friends. He and I have been friends over 10 years. I was in his wedding, all these things. We have a joke, but it is a joke. But I'm about to tell y'all our joke and tell y'all how serious it can be. Anytime I go preach, I know when I'm preaching good because my sister, his wife, is talking back to me. I tell any preacher that goes preach at my brother's church, if his wife doesn't talk back to you, you ain't do nothing. You ain't say nothing. But when I go preach, my brother will say things like, "Hey, Negro, don't be coming here shouting my wife. That's my wife." I'm saying that in the sense of we got to be careful that we not always shouting over the preacher, the pastor, or a pastor, and we not excited about our husbands, especially if your husband is in ministry too. Now I
Mm.
fault you if you got somebody that can't preach. You the problem. You should have found you a joker that's gonna study and spend time with the Lord.
That's funny.
That's real.
However, I
31.
mean, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
funny.
not sorry. I meant it. I meant every word. I ain't sorry. I ain't
Fire
apologizing no
tonight.
more for things I say. I meant it.
Fire.
That's funny as heck.
Keep it to yourself sometimes. Or off the live.
On
I'm just saying.
fire tonight.
That's funny.
We have to look at all of these things from and this is why I know we talk about it backstage, but this is why I do appreciate this panel because you get every perspective. You got your senior citizens down there in the corner. You got the women's perspective. You got
That man said senior citizen. Y'all know
these
they better
brothers of the crimson and cream. I ain't too fond of him, but I love him. He's my brother. You. But nah, for real, like this channel brings every
And we
perspective.
have the unfiltered pastor.
It brings every perspective to the table,
who
and
always
and you
most
leave looking at life differently.
Differently. Yeah.
You leave here being better.
You know what? Honestly, you guys, I've never really thought about what pastors, single pastors, like what that is like for you guys dating,
Oh,
going
it's
in
crazy
and
out
out of
here.
relationships, like especially transitioning from like being single, dating someone, and then possibly, marrying them like that. I can't.
And then let's
And can I?
not talk
And,
about let's not talk
James.
about the ones who just like because they like authority. They like the sense of
They want to be a
having
first
someone
lady.
Yep.
they
That's
have
all I was about to
someone
go
that's in
to.
authority.
They want to be
Yep.
a
They
first lady.
they
Yep.
yeah.
So when I get to
Like
know, when
that.
I'm getting to know someone, a person, a woman, I always say, "Hey, can you see yourself being a first lady?" And the way that she answers that tells me automatically that
If
this
she's
is
like,
this my
yes,
word. All right, there you go. Because
oh
if
my
you
God,
two,
yes, I would love
if
it.
if you too excited about it, then to me, I'm like, you don't
Red
want me.
flag.
You want the power. You want the position. Because there's moments I ask myself, God, are you sure you called me to be a pastor? Can I quit? Can I give up? I mean,
I
and
woke up this morning
that's
and
just being
said,
Can I
real.
give up? He
I
said, can I
woke
give
up
up?
this morning, just this morning, and said, "We doing this
Like,
again?
Imagine.
You met
like
me?
really?
Me?
Oh,
You sure?"
Maybe, maybe one to sit on the front row.
yeah.
let me be at home and drink my. Hey, John Wesley, my fraternity brother, he took a whole sabbatical. That man said, "I'm tired of pastoring. I need a 6 month sabbatical to do what I want to
I can
do. I want
imagine.
to go. I want to go drink me what do you say, a mosa." He said, "I want to go to a church that nobody knows me at, and that I don't got to worry about the politics and all that." People don't understand how real that is. So when a woman says that I want to be with a pastor, do they really understand what they are coming into? To me, I do want to be married again. I'm just be honest. I do want to be married again, and I tell people, if you married, man, make it work. Do the work, do the counseling, do all the rest of that stuff because there's nothing out here in the streets. No matter who you are,
Gotcha.
no matter where you
It's
live, no
better.
matter how much money you got, whatever, and how many degrees you got, it's nothing out here in these streets. So if you with someone, make it work, because divorce, it's a grieving process, and if you really
Mhm.
not healed from your last divorce, the next thing that you're going to do is impact the next person that you are with. So you got to take the time to heal. But I do desire to be married again. I do desire to have that companionship, and I think in our church, the AME and the AME Zion Church, um, it makes it even more prevalent for pastors to want to get married. And what I mean by that, right? I'm 42, as in June, and where I pastor now in upstate New York, I have no family here. My
Mm.
closest family is in Texas. It's 23 hours driving unless I fly. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. That's another 26 hours or less I drive. So when it comes to like Christmas, when it comes to Thanksgiving, when it comes to all these other holidays and your members are at their house here, they can invite you over, but you still going back home by yourself to look at your walls unless you got a dog or a pet inside your house with you. Then you just, I mean, so it's hard. Who do you talk to when you are going through some things in your own church? Sometimes you leak out and talk to maybe a member that you trust, and then that gets out to somebody else and things of that nature. So being a single pastor is not what it is.
Yeah,
It's real.
in especially when you're on the itinerant track in our churches. I can see that because you don't know where you're gonna end up. You might change conferences at conference. Next thing you know, you're in another district. Yes,
Yep.
31. Don't say nothing crazy.
Drake said, "I don't love nobody but my mama and my baby."
Did he let go?
No, I removed
Oh,
him.
Wow,
I thought
This
wow.
he had
boy
dropped the
got this
mic.
boy got a problem,
I
man.
thought he had dropped the
We
mic,
can't hear
friend.
you.
Nah, so I was actually going to say, while I am a proponent of what my brother is saying, I'm also on the other side of, do not try to force something to work that's just not working,
Yeah.
because you do more damage holding on to something
You do.
that's not benefiting you, and you're constantly giving from a empty place. I can't pour out what I don't have because it's not been reciprocated.
So this is a
If
real
I'm
question.
i- if my hand is caught in the rowing chain and you're pulling one way and the row is pulling the other way and my hand is in it, if something or somebody does not let go of the rowing chain, my hand is going to be crushed.
Yeah.
So do you guys feel in the ministry as pastors, single pastors, that you have witnessed or seen or possibly even experienced situations where relationships are forced on you from the congregation and or leadership type situations because she's set up nice and you're set up nice and this would be a great look for the church?
It has not happened in my particular church, but it has happened to me. Um, there's a conference I go to every year, a preaching conference, and there's a lady. She's there every year. This woman's there every year. Um, I don't remember her name, but I could tell you who she is the moment she walks in. Last year, this lady stops me and she says, "Ain't you from such and such? You live in such and such area? My granddaughter goes to school about 45 minutes from there."
I can see that happen to y'all all the time.
It does.
Ma'am, I don't want your granddaughter.
And it's never mind.
It's granddaughters, it's nieces, it's sisters, depending on how old you are. Yeah, it's universal. There is no discrimination in who they try to hook you up with.
My god brother was at a conference, and now he's a bishop. However, before he got married, It was a young lady he knew, went to school with or whatever. She found out that he was a pastor. He was a preacher, becoming a pastor. A long line family of preachers and teachers and stuff. And she came up behind him, rubbed him on his back, and said, "I know you. I know who you are. I know what you represent. However, if ever you need a time to just be you, the real you, and you want some company, just let me know. Whatever happens between us, happens
Girl,
between us."
I know you lying.
And when he told me that, I looked at him and I'm like, "Joe." And he looked at me and he was like, "Johnny, I ain't even gonna tell you who she was. But yeah."
He should have said, "Who sent you?"
No, but it's like he said,
That's scary.
aunties, cousins, sisters,
That's crazy.
goddaughters, grandbabies, nieces, my friend's daughter, my
A couple of weeks
goddaughter.
ago,
They don't care. They
They
a
don't.
they
cou-
want to set up their family member with someone they feel is not just prestigious, but can shine a bright light not on them but on the family as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's not
crazy.
about ministry, it's about legacy.
Yeah. Does that make it difficult for you guys to date for love? Like, don't you want to like be aligned and in love with someone versus
I
so
thank God for my
at this
pastor I
point,
had. Him and his wife told them, if he don't say nothing to you, don't say nothing to him, because he looks like he's quiet, but when he cut into you real raw, you gonna look at him cross-eyed because you didn't think he was gonna come at you like that. I advise you to leave him alone.
let him
And
be?
for a while, that worked. And then they was like, he just rude and don't say nothing to nobody. And it's not that I'm rude. I know what you're coming from. I know what you want, and it's not authentic. So
this
it makes you
this
hide.
this day and age, and I keep using this word, but we really gotta use it. We gotta get into it. Discernment is key. You have to be able to be a discerner when you are in this thing. What are you here for?
Who sent you?
Who sent you?
Who
Bro, I
sent
was just
you?
about to say that. Who
Like
sent you?
the discernment is key. We have to know where to place people, how to place people, how close they can be, how far away they gotta be. If they can't be there at all, why are you here? And I know there's this hyper spiritual culture that now talks about monitoring spirits, but that's been a thing. That ain't just happened. That's been a thing. And if you're not discerning enough, you're going to run into Jezebel. By the way, Jezebel was not a whore. She was a spirit of control. She was dominant. Let me clarify. If you're not careful, you're going to run into a Lot's wife. We don't know what her name is, but a Lot's wife continues to look back instead of looking forward. If you're not careful, you're going to run into a Eve. Yes, Eve was made for Adam. However, the problem with Eve was when they fell from grace, instead of her being accountable on her part, she continuously said, Lord, it was that serpent.
But
Mm.
Yeah,
I
he
gotta
played
put
some part, but where is
I
your
gotta put
accountability?
I gotta push back on you on the Eve. I was with you until you got to the Eve part. My only pushback with Eve is Adam forgot his responsibility because
Well,
when well,
again,
no, hey, Peter, let me finish this up. I'll let you talk. And so the only thing I want to say about that, my pushback with that is when Adam was created, God said it's not good for man to be alone, and then before he gave him a suitable. That's what the Bible says. Go check it if you want to. But he said, cultivate everything in his garden, name it, tame it, do everything that's there. Then he came back and said, there's no one suitable. He didn't say compatible. He said suitable. And so let me create this woman. And so when he created a woman, Adam's job was to name her. That's the reason why the enemy was even able to attack the woman because she didn't know who her name was. That's why when you go to the 20th, 22nd, 23rd verse in the third chapter, Adam still had to go back and do his original job, which was to name her. So it wasn't that she was blaming him. She just didn't know who she was. So I agree with everything that you were saying, except till you got to that narrative on Eve.
well, I was about to clarify something in that as well, though, because now, one, that word suitable does mean compatible.
It's two different
It
things.
it
Suitability
means
and compatibility is
we'll
two different things.
we'll deal with it after this. However, that's after live conversation. However, when I say that he put blame on the serpent, yes, it was Adam's job to cover her. It was, but instead of covering her, he fell weak to her,
Mm,
and he did what he was not supposed to do because he fell weak to her. And the point I was getting ready to make is we cannot fall weak to the temptation just because it comes from a certain person.
mm, mm.
So again, why are you here? What is your purpose? How are we going to walk together? What does this look like? Where should I place you? Discernment.
Well, we do have to have discernment. I also think that just like we fall victim to our own eyes. We know what we want in a woman. We know what she has to look like, what we think she has to model, and things of that nature. And because of that, sometimes we hurt our own self because we try to capture something that God never meant for you to have to help you in your ministry. And I had to learn that the hard way. I wanted my woman to look a certain way. I wanted her to walk a certain way, to talk a certain way, and to realize that's not who I needed or wanted at all. And so now I'm in a situation or in a season, say, God, you know what? Send me who you want me to have, regardless of what she looks like. You know what
I'm in a
Victor
bind,
Patterson
Nate.
needs.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Because looks fade away, baby. They fade away.
Yeah, but you got
Listen,
to be able to look at them.
We do. We do
yeah,
have to
you
look
got
at them.
because ain't no
But if
way.
that's all. But if that's the only thing that you, if that's the only thing that you was going for, and she's not adding value to you in any other way, to
Well,
me
I
that's
agree.
different. And that's the reason why I say, are you suitable? Is different than being compatible. You can be compatible in a lot of things, but does this person fit in your
The
lifestyle
right
now, or
things.
with this lady continue to fit in your lifestyle as you continue to grow and progress? And I think that's where the difference is between being compatible with someone, because you can trauma bond and compatibility, but
Yes,
are
you
you
can.
suitable
Well,
with
you done
me?
said something.
Are you
That's it
suitable
now.
with me? Are you bringing what I'm bringing to the table?
That's
Are
real.
you bringing, or do you ain't got as much as I got to lose? So there's just a difference between being compatible and suitable. I was trying to be with somebody that I was compatible with because of what she looked like, but not because she was suitable for me and what God was trying to take me to. Let me shut up now.
Well, thi-
You done
this
said
is this is this is why the shepherd discerns for us pastures versus pathways. I'm gonna say this and I'm quit. Pastures, you have green grass. The shepherd knows that sheep cannot eat brown grass because they will choke and their teeth are dull, so it has to be green grass. However, when he takes them on these paths, which are Judean paths to wherever they are going, there are owners that own land that are parallel to these paths. And along the paths, they have grain that has been dropped. And because the sheep get hungry and they may feel snackish along the way of the journey, they are tempted to eat the grain. Here's the problem with the grain. The grain may hold you for the moment, but it has no nutritional value. And so the shepherd is discerning enough to know, number one, this grain does not belong to us, so we got to keep walking. And two, it's not nutritional for you, so I can't let you eat it. And so the shepherd understands in this particular scene of your life, you might not be in a pasture, you're in a pathway. And so I'm not even going to let you get close enough to that to where you can try to get your mouth on it. Because they ain't got no nutritional value for you.
All right, then.
That's deep.
You spoke a word, little brother, and we appreciate it.
Amen.
Amen. The time has been far spent on this evening. I think we have had
Good
luscious
topic, guys. You guys were very vulnerable. Thank y'all.
And I love that. Oh,
As pastors, I'm saying, y'all were like,
why are you looking crazy, J Hart?
We human. Pastors,
I
they're
know.
human.
You're very human. I get it. I totally get it. But some,
I appreciate
some
you
pastors
saying. I appreciate you saying that because I think one of the most. So I'm working on my dissertation, and in my dissertation is really about burnout that pastors are exposed to, and the stress and de-stress. And one of the things that is prevalent in all, especially when it comes to Black clergy, is that we think we are invisible. And we think we are invisible because of people don't see us as human, but they see us as a position. And because when people see us as a position, we operate in trying to make everybody happy, but then forget ourselves as human beings. And so I'm very volatile. I'm very, opinionated when it comes to having boundaries, but also letting my people know, hey, I'm going through stuff just like y'all going through. I might be going through more stuff than y'all going through because not only am I dealing with my own personal stuff, I'm dealing with your stuff too. And so sometimes you gotta let people, you gotta be real with people. We're not God, and we can't play God. That's God's role to be him and play him. But we are God's people and his spokesperson. And because we that, we still have to advocate for ourselves. And sometimes, regardless if you agree with it or not, we still have to let people know, you know what? I can say no. You know what? I might not be able to do it right now, but I can get back and turn around and get back with you. Hey, you know what? Yeah, Pastor want to go on a date night too. Yeah, Pastor want to have it. You feel that way because guess what? Where do baby Christians come from? Where do all this other stuff from? If you can have it, if you can say that, how come the pastor can't have it?
Yeah.
And so we got to get out of this. I'm the pastor and be human, because most of the churches that I have gone to and the people have loved me, and I've been at 5 churches, and every church I can call right now, they were like, Pastor, we still love you, because they realized that I was real with them.
Yeah.
That's my piece.
Thank you. Any closing remarks before we take this offline?
I think it's important in dating, be it in ministry or not, to covet what you are growing, what you're grooming with someone. Foundation is key. Building a foundation before you expose and put your business out there is so important. So yeah, I think it's important to date in privacy, get to know a person, and then naturally, I don't think it should be a pop out moment. But it should naturally they become part of your life, so it will naturally be seen. So,
Right. Yeah. 31.
Um, Peace lilies
You
are
like them?
temporal plants. I love them. However,
Lilies right there.
you cannot overwater them,
That's right.
and they have to have indirect sunlight.
Hmm?
They
Wow.
cannot be completely exposed to the sunlight because if they are completely exposed to sunlight, you run the risk of browning and burning their leaves.
Mm-hmm.
If you overwater them, you run the risk of drowning their roots. And so, friends, what I want to say to you is in this life of discernment and dating, ministry and finding your person, be like a peace lily. Don't
Mm.
overwater it and don't expose yourself to direct sunlight. Peace and blessings.
Hallelujah. Jay. Coach Jay, you got anything to say?
Song says, Lord, prepare me to
Mm,
be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, I will be a living sanctuary for you. There was a pastor who broke that down and said a sanctuary is also known as a safe place. So I pray that our prayers while we're in this dating scene, married scene, and becoming one with someone, that you understand that you need to be a safe place, not just for them, but for you as well.
Mm. My God.
And with that, thank you for tuning in to Christ, Culture, and Connections. We'll see you again soon. Peace, love, and hair grease. Bye.